Hi there! It has been a while since I've done a video about what we've been reading. And honestly, it's because we haven't been reading a whole lot. The weather's been warm here and the evenings are long, and we've been doing a lot of family projects outside, which means not as much time reading together. However, we did finish a couple books I wanted to share with you, and I have a few children's books that are just classics that I think would be great in any library. So let me get started. Okay, I'm going to start with the children's books. If you haven't heard of Harold and the Purple Crayon, this says 50th anniversary. This book has been around for a while. It is just a classic story about a boy and his purple crayon, and he goes out on a walk and draws his own adventure. It's very simple, and the reason that I've always liked this book is because I think it gets kids' imagination going about the power that they have within themselves to create drawings and imagine the adventures that go with it. So that's a favorite. This is another favorite that I have read to all of my kids. It's called Caps for Sale. It's another old one about a man who is a cap salesman. And it just is a beautiful picture of what it was like in the days when a person could earn a living going door to door selling something like caps. And basically he goes out into the country and carefully, he always wore his caps balanced all the way up on his head. So he goes out into the country and carefully leans against a tree to take a rest, and meanwhile some monkeys all steal his caps. And it's about his, process of trying to get the caps back and getting really frustrated with the monkeys and how he gets them back in the end. So it's just a cute story. Lastly, another one that's kind of a nostalgic look at the past. I realized that all my children's books were. This one is called The Elevator Man. So this book takes place during a time when elevators were run by an actual person who made the elevator go. And they are being transitioned over to a modern elevator with buttons that you push. And it's about the relationship between this little boy who just really adores the elevator man where he lives and how he wants to be him when he grows up, and how the elevator man dreams of not being an elevator man but moving up in his job position. And it shows the whole story of how through the boy's mind and his curiosity of asking his parents as this whole process is taking place of the modernization of their elevator, and just his wonder in all of it and his worry, just all his emotions, and then the sweet ending when the elevator man gets a promotion and still gets to be with the little boy, and the little boy gets to be an elevator man because he gets to push his own buttons himself. So really sweet story. Okay, now I have 3 chapter books to share with you. We finished this family read aloud. It's part of the Lamplighter collection, Peek Behind the Scenes. This is a very, it's a longer book, and it took us a little while to get through, but it was a treasure, and it actually opened up a lot of conversations about salvation with our children, because it is a story of a girl who lives with her parents in a traveling fair. So they live in a caravan and they travel through, from town to town performing their act. And the father is pretty much disconnected from the mother and the daughter. He really only cares about making money, and he's very worldly. And the mother, who is ill and does die partway through the story, probably 3/4 of the way through, she and her daughter, Rosalie, end up coming to a saving faith in Jesus. And it shows the process of Rosalie's, the life transformation that this leads her to. Her father does die as well. So there are both parents die in this book, just to let you know. But it just shows how she makes her faith active. And it's told in such an engaging way that it's not really in your face, which I think is what sparks so many conversations with our kids. And it shows just the power of one child who believes in Jesus, the power that they have to spread that message to others. It is a very sweet ending. She gets to be reunited with the aunt that she had never met, her mother's sister, and is just welcomed with open arms into their family. And it just shows all the different relationships that she has established along the way, and comes to just a wonderful ending. So this was a great book. I'm very glad that we read it. We also read this one, which was a very quick read. This is historical fiction. I read this with the kids just during our lunchtime read, 40 Acres and Maybe a Mule. So this book takes place during the time when President Lincoln had freed slaves and was actually giving out parcels of land to help them start their own small farms. But it's the story of 3 siblings who are under a master who doesn't even tell his slaves that it's been a couple years since that happened, and they're just still, working away and being treated very poorly. They also are orphans, and the oldest brother finds out about the emancipation, and the 3 together run away from their master. And so it's the story of them meeting people along the way and of just their determination to go and get the land, which they do, and start this farm and that whole process. And in the end, they end up losing their farm. However, it's just the story, I think, really of the younger boy learning that freedom is about something in your heart. It's not something that is defined by what you own or what you look like. It's something in the heart. So this was a great short read. It was it's written for a kids to read to themselves, so it's at an easier to read level, and it just flowed really quickly. Everybody enjoyed that very much. So the book that I just started with the kids is The 21 Balloons. We just got started on this one, so I don't have much to tell you yet, but it's about a professor who decided to fly across the Pacific Ocean in a hot air balloon and somehow has this very unusual accident that crashes his balloon, and everyone is just around the world is fascinated to find out what happened. So this is just kind of a real switch from what we've been reading. This book is very kind of outlandish in the imagination. It's not like a factual thing at all like we've been reading, and so it's a fun switch for a little bit. We haven't started a new family read aloud yet. We just finished this one last night, so I need to get started, go to my shelf and pick out another one for the family to read. But that is my recommendations. Please let me know if you have any for me. I've actually started a list of some of the recommendations that you have given me in the past, so it's wonderful to have that to turn to in times like these when I'm ready for another book. So thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.